Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. And we are now live. And I just got the alert that we're live. So that's good. I'm Jen Lee, AKA Rebel Esquire, and this is the Rebel Roundtable. And I am super pleased. I'm always pleased because my guests are fantastic, but I am super pleased to have Imran Alavi here today talking about SEO, no BS SEO, because lawyers were convinced that SEO is witchcraft and it's not a real thing and everyone's trying to scam us. And so Imran's going to help us tell us what the actual deal is and how to find a reputable person to help you with SEO, including Imran himself. So Imran wants to give us a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. I'm really happy to be a part of this today. So I run ProLeadSoft, started this in 2012, and we are a 24-person software development and digital marketing agency based in San Francisco. Today, I'm going to be focusing more on the SEO side of things.
Yeah, very good. But you do app development. I think that's cool to point out because we all often think about having an app for something. And I think it's just cool to know somebody who does app development. So thank you for mentioning that. So I'm going to start with like the elephant in the room is why do lawyers think SEO is a scam? Like what's going on there?
So a lot of lawyers do think that if they have ever worked with somebody who did not get them the right results, or because they have been pitched a lot about SEO and they get like 20 emails every day about SEO, but they never tried it, and they hear from other people that, hey, we just get referrals, we are happy with that. So I don't think they've ever encountered good SEO. That's why they think that it does not work for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we do get pitched all day, and there is a lot of it's an easy area to scam in because it's if you're not looking at the numbers or you don't understand what all the numbers are. So I do think that it just makes you so pessimistic about it. But it's really important. And what's the difference then between like real SEO and this nonsense that is out there permeating the atmosphere, it seems like?
Right. So the thing about SEO, it needs to be done holistically. SEO is not just about a very specific part of it. It starts with the strategy, then
Yep.
looking at the competition, and then once you have the strategy established, then you come up with keywords, optimize the website on an ongoing basis, and then you test and measure almost on a weekly or monthly basis and see what's working, what are the kind of leads the clients are getting, and keep on working on it. If you do only a part of it, it would not work. It needs to be done holistically, looking at the overall picture.
That's interesting that you say that because it seems like we're often sold like a blueprint. And I keep joking that blueprints are not helpful because everyone has to be targeting what they want to target, not what the industry maybe wants to target. So I'm glad to hear you say the holistic approach. Does it take a lot of time? Like you said weekly checking it and then you make adjustments. How long does it take to actually see results from the adjustments?
Yeah, so depend on the types of adjustments. We try to do it the first time, but we're always looking at like kind of leads people are getting. Thing about SEO, it is a longer compared to Google Ads. For Google Ads, you can just start running ads and you'll start seeing those ads tomorrow. But with
Yep.
SEO, it does take 3 to 6 months before you start seeing results. Not saying it could not happen quicker, but that's generally how long it takes because other people competing for your space on the first page. So you have to make sure that you're doing it consistently over a period of time. But once
Yep.
you do get those results after 3 to 6 months and you establish those, you can really get a lot of great benefits without having to pay for ads.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of lawyers fall into the trap because they contract with someone for those 3 to 6 months and then there's no results because they didn't do the holistic strategic approach to it. And then they get frustrated by the lack of results. And it's a long time to not have clients coming in from that payment. So I can see that. Um, what are some red flags? Because you run a legit SEO and development company. What are some of the red flags when someone's talking to an SEO provider, especially law firms, that would scream, "Don't hire this company"?
So something like, hey, we're gonna do SEO for you for like a few $100. We're gonna get you on the first page, and we don't have any references. Their website doesn't have any address. They're just like saying things that they'll get you these uh, like very outrageous kind of results within like a week or month, that just, if you hear that, that's a red flag. It does not work like that. You need to first have a strategy, implement it over a period of few months, and then you start getting those results. So that would be the red flag. If somebody is promising you the moon within like a week, that you just like steer clear of those.
It should be okay. Should be. That's funny that you say that, because I feel like the number one thing that comes across my desk is we'll get you to number one on Google promise. Like that's the whole promise, the whole sales pitch is we'll get you to number one on Google. Is that ever real?
If you work on it for a while, you can get number one on Google. So the good thing about SEO, it's not reserved for the large companies who have like millions of dollars in ad budget. Anybody can rank on the first page, first fold of Google, even if you're like a one-person shop. That's the beauty of SEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. A lot of times I think we mess up, we don't understand the SEO and content. And can you talk about the interplay between SEO and the words that are being searched and content like on our websites and other things? What's the interplay there?
Great question. So always there's tools out there that can identify how many keywords were searched on Google in a prior month. So if there's keywords that are being searched, for example, for a law firm, like I'll give you an example of one of the clients we work with. So let's say you search for a family law attorney in San Francisco or divorce attorney California, or some of those keywords. So you can actually identify how many times that keyword was searched for. The higher the keyword was searched for, that means the more difficult that keyword is. So you need to work on it more. But that's the keywords you want to target, because that's what people are searching for. If you try to target keywords which have like 5 or 10 searches in a month, nobody's really searching for that. So it's very easy to rank for those, but you're not really going to get people who are going to find you based on that. So that's the interplay. You identify the keywords that are being searched for. That determines all your strategy, your pages, your content, your backlinks, and that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen some of these websites where they try to load like every keyword into a post or into the footer or something like that of their website. Talk about that strategy. Is that effective or not?
Oh no, we call it keyword stuffing. Google does not like that at all. It needs to be very natural. So SEO writing, it's not that it cannot be really good English. It can be. That's the art. You have to use the keyword, but it also needs to be natural. It needs to serve the intent of the user that is coming to your website. You have to add keywords, but if you stuff a bunch of keywords in the page, Google is going to like blacklist you eventually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because that is really annoying when you go and they see we serve and then they list like 3,000 small town names in the county because they're trying to, get people searching there. So I was curious how that worked. On websites for SEO, does new content or fresh, consistent content part of the strategy for SEO these days?
It is. One thing I do want to mention, or maybe we'll discuss later about AI in content, is that this is a good time to talk about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So the thing about Google had an algorithm update, a recent one, a core update. They want to make sure that you're not using AI to create your content. That's a very important thing for all the viewers to understand. If you use AI to create content and you start posting that consistently, Google is going to think that you're spamming the system and they're going to start blacklisting you. So the content needs to be natural and it needs to make sense for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for content, is it just blog posts? Is it video? Like what kind of content is highlighted these days? Yeah.
So fresh content is important, and also a great way to start off is if you have a website that has not done SEO. So there's few things. The types of content, there's the first most important content is your services pages or your product pages that exist on the website. So based on the strategy, you may want to break down your services further into sub-services, or you want to add more sections to your services pages. That's the most important thing. After that, there's ongoing articles and blogs. You can either redo the ones you already have. Let's say there's a lawyer talking about law. They can just simply update the old content with the new law.
Okay.
And so then there's new content you have to publish ongoing month over month. Then there's offsite content. You're creating offsite content, guest blogs on third-party websites like Reddit, Medium, Quora, and other websites. And then you're getting a backlink back to your website. So those are some of the content that is created for that is some of the content.
Yeah. I think lawyers, we tend to like to write and we hate to be on video, but I also think that most of our clients prefer to watch videos. I think most of the internet prefers to watch a video. And so trying to get the right mix of content's always interesting too. So
yeah, it's great if you embed video on your content. So there's a blog or an article and there's also a video. Google really likes videos, and especially for YouTube video, LinkedIn, and Google owns YouTube. So they really like that. It's going to push you up the rankings.
Is there a penalty if you have the same content? Like if I post an article on LinkedIn, but then I also post almost or pretty close to the same content on my blog, is there a penalty for that?
So that is a great question. Copying content from other websites can get you in trouble if you're copying that. So I would avoid copying, pasting the content from anywhere else. I would avoid that. Social media, I would say, if you're using it your same page to post content, it might have like a very small penalty. But if you're posting somebody else's content and copy pasting that, that is a big no-no. Never do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I was just thinking because sometimes LinkedIn prefers articles on their platform versus a link to your own blog post. And so how to kind of repurpose content, but not get penalized on
if it's
SEO.
the same page, if it's the same page on LinkedIn and then you're also using that content on the website, then I think that's should be okay.
Interesting. Okay. As I ask questions that I've wondered about for the last, couple months while I'm looking at different things. Yeah. What is like the bare minimum SEO foundation a law firm should have? Like where do they start at?
Great. So start off at, so again, the first step is always the website because the goal of SEO or ads is to send people to your website. Yep. So make sure your website is properly created. Make sure you have all your services pages broken down in the right way. If you're, I always coming back to the family law example. So don't just have a family law page. Have like multiple pages like custody and divorce and all these different mediation and all these different services broken down as much as possible. Then also talk about where you practice it. What are the locations? Other than that, the foundation for offsite is make sure your website is listing the different directories like FindLaw or Martindale. All these different third-party websites which are for lawyers. Make sure your website is listed. They also offer free listings. So start off with that. And the final thing I'll talk about in terms of foundation, make sure you have a great Google My Business page. That is also provided by Google. It's again free, get reviews. So that's the foundation. And then also make sure your website works well on mobile phones. So not just for the web, make sure it works well on mobile. So that's where you can start off.
Okay. You said something that was really interesting that's come up in a lot of my lawyer group discussions these days. Google My Business has been, and I don't know if you're an expert at this, I'm just jumping off script here a little bit. I don't have a script, but Google My Business has been a source of contention for a lot of us because we are primarily virtual practitioners. Right. And so it's been very hard. Do you have if you know of anything that we can use to try to have a Google My Business listing that's not tied to a physical location?
So I would recommend, if you want to do that, I would start off with your home address, get verified, and then there's an option to hide your address from the public. Mm-hmm. So you can still show, let's say you live in, I'll give an example of, let's say you live in Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
And you're working from your home, you have a home office, which a lot of people have, but you don't want people to see that address. Mm-hmm. You can actually get your business verified from your home address and then hide your address from the public. There's an option to do that. It will just show the city or over the high level location.
Yeah. Not the exact address. We don't have people coming to our house. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I had problems a few times in California between a couple of my virtual offices too, where you had to have a video of where people could walk into your office. I'm like, people can't walk into my office. That's the whole point of having a virtual office.
That they want real addresses. So you get verified and then you can hide it, but you do need some place to get verified from.
Yeah, definitely. Very cool. Thank you for that. You said about listings and directories. Is that something you help with? You help for SEO? Does that help to find all the possible directories and listings that are out there and make sure they're updated?
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. So we do help that. We create, so when we work with SEO for anybody, we would basically create all of that. We would
Okay.
basically add all the keywords, add all of that stuff, and also make sure that you have all the right backlinks. Sometimes you might need different backlinks for different service areas. So it's not just doing it once, it's basically doing it the right way. I have a list of directories we usually list people on. I'm just opening that right now. I'm going to share that. And I highly recommend anybody who's a lawyer should go and list your website. They offer paid, but they also offer free, right?
Yeah.
So at least list it on the free one. So for example, like Martindale, lawyer.com, attorney at law, contracts counsel, Justia, elite lawyer, US attorneys, Axiom Law, to name a few, and more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually great because I found when I was first starting out 15 years ago as a lawyer, I just went and found all these free listings and updated. Then the struggle becomes like, where did you list at? And you have to make sure that you're organized enough. So if you have a company doing that for you, hopefully that's a lot easier than a lawyer. I was a brand new lawyer. I didn't have capital to hire someone at the time. But yeah,
backlinks are very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, backlinks are very important. It gets you, it is, I would say, and there's a big, the verdict is out there, but like, it's as important as on-site work. Off-site is as important.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I think, to be honest, a lot of lawyers don't do the work on their website that they should. They don't, like, your first step was you have to have a good website. And I think a lot of lawyers put off the website as a brochure and they want to do word of mouth. But even your word of mouth referrals are going to Google you. And can you talk about that a little bit? Like, even if you're doing referral based business, they're still going to Google you.
Absolutely. And no offense to anybody, I hear this a lot that, hey, we just want to get referrals. We all don't get good leads from our website. And again, they all about this Rebel Roundtable is no BS SEO. So
yeah,
it's BS. Like, it's not true. Like, that's a different channel. People have different channels for their marketing. Networking and referrals are great, but there's people who generate millions of dollars in revenue just by having the right SEO and Google ad strategy. So for them, it might be a situation where they have not encountered good SEO. So they're like, hey, we are happy with referrals, but they cannot really grow their business that way. They need to open up different channels like speaking, SEO, Google ads, and website. Yeah, so everybody's going to Google you. I have gone myself to various websites which I got referred to. I opened the website and I'm like, I don't want to work with them.
Yeah.
Because it's like just not somebody, and I'm sure a lot of people have done that. They go to somebody's website, they're like, oh, and they need to understand that people get multiple referrals. It's not that they're like, oh, just work with this person. They probably get 3 links or 2 links, and they might work with somebody who has a better website.
Yes. And that's, I think, very important because a lot of attorneys, when we refer to each other, we tend to refer 2 or 3 just to make sure that we refer a couple so that they can. And so I think that's also where they're going to Google you and they're going to look at your website. And if it's old and stale or you don't even come up on Google very well, or there's no website at all. I've had several recently where I would Google them and there is no website. And I was like, that's not, you can tell that firm is not operating in the modern times. And so what else aren't they doing modern in their firm? Do they not have document management? Do they not have good cybersecurity? So it kind of all goes into like the reputation that's inferred by not having a good strategy with their website. So yeah.
One point I want to add on that subject is a lot of people will also open that website on their phones. So when we are building websites for our clients, we want to make sure that it works really well on phones and different types of phones, different tablets, because more than 50% of people, according to research, use their mobile. So if you have a good website that's okay on the web, but it's broken on the phone, they're like, oh, and if something is broken and not formatted right, it just like puts you off, like, oh, I don't want to like really deal with that for my work.
Well, and it's hard to read, like, and some of us, as we get older, and it's harder to read our phones, but we're on them all the time. Right. And so if your website isn't mobile optimized, I think that's probably the first place to start, is just get your website mobile optimized.
And Google really looks at that as well. So there's a great resource for everybody. It's a free resource provided by Google. It's called Google Page Speed. If you go to Google, type Google Page Speed and enter your website link in there, it will tell you your score on web and mobile. And the most important one is the mobile score. So if it's not more than 80%, then you're really not doing a great job.
That's good to know. I'm going to put that link in the description once I get this posted up live. So it's streaming live, but for everyone who's watching, I'll get the link into the description once it's up there. So um you talked a little bit about, I want to wrap up, but I think there's so many ways we could go down things. And I really appreciate all your expertise because I feel like this is definitely breaking through the no BS side of things. The AI generated content and ChatGPT and Google cracking down, I'm seeing a lot of people are just like copy pasting. Like you can tell because of the stupid formatting. It formats things the same way. I did a video and wrote an article on it recently. And I see people copying and pasting directly. If people are doing AI assisted, where they have content, but then they're going in and they're changing it to match their voice and all of that, is that still going to be cracked down on as much? Can Google tell that?
So I don't think Google is using algorithms. They're
Okay.
using algorithms to track if something is written by AI. So there's three different things. One
Yep.
is content written fully by a human being and no AI. One is you're just using AI, and there's one in the middle where you're using some AI and some not. I would really recommend you use no AI if you can,
Yeah.
but if you still use your own content, have AI slightly modify it, that could be okay, but I would steer clear of that. And
Yeah.
100% never use copy pasted content. That is a big Google algorithm update clearly says that they're going to penalize AI written content. But if you're using it to change some of it, I think it should be avoided. But if you're doing that, that's better than using AI only.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I get it. And there's so many things you can use AI for that doesn't result in like copy pasting it or using the content. It's more the idea generation gets you to the point where you have your own ideas anyway. So
But we use that for ideas a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always on chat saying, hey, give me 20, taglines I can use or 20 ideas for this or 20 things. Or I just like to ask it for ideas sometimes. So okay, so I have to wrap up a little bit here, but what's like the one thing you want us all to take away and how can we find you?
Thank you. Yeah. So uh, basically, if there was one thing I would say to take away is just the last point we talked about, and I say this
Yeah.
on presentations: do not use AI to create your content. Do not use AI to create your content for your website, for your blogs. It's better to not have any content than have AI content because you
Okay.
don't want to be flagged. Also, there are some tools out there that can find out if you have been using AI. So there's Zero GPT, there's Quill, we can use those tools which are free. Zero GPT is a good one. It will tell you the likelihood that your content was was written by the use of AI. So if you can use free tools to do that, Google is much more advanced. They can identify that. Don't do that. And then how they can find us, again, you can find us online, proleadsoft.com. And my email is Imran, IMRAN @proleadsoft, so PROLEADSOFT.com. Or you can just add me on LinkedIn, Imran Alavi. Imran
Very
Alavi.
good.
Yeah, so those are some ways you can find us and contact us.
Okay, very cool. Thank you. I hope lots of people reach out to you because again, having SEO done right is really important, and finding the done right part is the hard part. On the Rebel Roundtable, we do have a Spotify list. We call them the Rebel Anthems. Do you have a song that you listen to when you want to get pumped up or you want to rebel against society? Do you have a favorite song?
So I did get that before, but I actually don't listen to music when I'm
Yeah.
working. I
Yeah.
used to, but I don't really use that. I there's not no one song which I kind of
Okay.
no.
That's okay. It's always interesting to see. There are some people that are very music oriented and they define things around music. And then there's others. I have to have like classical music playing if I'm just
Uh,
working, but I can't have like raging music playing because I won't
right.
concentrate. But thank you. I really appreciate you being on the Rebel Roundtable. And I think there's all kinds of things paths we could go down for more discussion. And I hope to see you soon. And I really hope that people reach out to you because SEO is no joke. It's not BS, but a lot of the people out there doing it are BS. So find the right people. Thank you, Imran. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jen. Really appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a great long weekend.